Hello, it's Grammy Antonia. I thought I'd update you on the little kitten I found abandoned that I brought home. So that was Saturday, and when I brought her back to the house, checked her out real good and found out it was a female. And so my husband and we began to try to figure out a name for her, and we ended up with Twiggy because long time ago, back in the 60s and 70s, there was a model named Twiggy, and she was super thin. So this little female cat was skinny and thin, and we named her Twiggy. So Frank and Sophie, our two cats. Sophie being for my new subscribers, Sophie's my black cat, and she's a female. She's kind of on the heavy side. And then we have Frank, who's a mixed Siamese, and he's a male cat. Well, we got Frank first. We rescued him. And then Sophie we adopted from a family member that was moving and didn't want her anymore. And the two of them have had a little bit of problem learning to get along with each other because both of them were a little older when they got together here at our house. So we've dealt with that, but everything's pretty good between those two. So anyway, I bring the little kitten home. We name her Twiggy. And as soon as Sophie saw her, of course she growled and hissed and ran in the bedroom under the bed and hid. And then Frank, when he saw her, he did the same thing, hissed and growled, and he took off outside and went out the little road that I like to walk on, and sat about halfway out that little road and wouldn't come back to the house no matter what I said. And of course, little Twiggy, she just stayed right here around the porch and then right here around the sidewalk. She wasn't venturing very far. So we waited a while, and we kept calling for Frank every now and then to come on back to the house. He wouldn't come. He'd just sit out there and look at us like he was mad, like, what's this all about? And Sophie didn't want anything to do with it. She just stayed hid in the bedroom. So some more time went by, and I walked out there where Frank was because he usually follows me around. So I went out there and petted him, talked to him. Told him to come on, let's go back to the house. It's just a little kitten, little kitten. She'll like you. She'll want to play, So he walked with me, and we got here to the yard, and you could tell he was being really cautious. Well, as soon as he saw her, he took off again and went right back out there where he was and kind of got in the weeds. So we just left him alone for a while, and every so often we'd call him, Frankie Doodle, come to the house. Nope, he's going to sit out there. So I went a second time, did that twice, walked him back out here to the house, and he ran back out there. So we just left him alone, and it got dark. Sophie was still hid in the bedroom, and we gave the little Twiggy some food, and I fixed her some evaporated milk with some warm water, and she loved that. And she was doing fine. She just seemed so happy to be here, loving to get petted and fed, and she was purring and playing around a little bit, finding little spots where she could lay. And she used the litter box, which was wonderful. So anyway, it got dark. And we kind of were worrying about Frank. We didn't want him to stay out here outside. But I thought, well, and as we were talking about it, I said, maybe he'll just come on the porch and sleep. And we have a flap door for him where they can come in and out. It's in the window. So I thought, well, if he wants to come in, he can come in that window door. But another hour or so went by, and we were just worried about him. So my husband got a towel and went out there and wrapped Frank up in a towel and brought him to the house because we knew he'd struggle wanting loose the minute he saw her, which he did. But he had him wrapped up good in the towel, and he took him in there in my bedroom because Frank, he doesn't sleep with me all the time, but occasionally he does sleep in the bed with me. So my husband put him in there in my bed and kind of just pulled the door to. So he did. He slept with me all night. He didn't leave the bedroom. He'd go to where the door was cracked and maybe look. And if she would come to the door where it was cracked, oh, he'd growl and perk up. You know, he didn't want nothing to do with her. So, anyway, Sophie slept under the bed, and Frank slept in the bed with me. And the little kitten did fine. Found her a nice little place on a chair with a pillow, and she slept there. So then Sunday, which was yesterday, sort of the same thing was going on. You know, Frank was scared and Sophie was hiding, and every time they'd see her, they'd growl and, you know, kind of hiss at her. But she was fine because Frank came outside and just stayed outside, and Sophie stayed in the bedroom, or if she did come out, she'd stay totally away from Twiggy. And we knew it was going to take a little time. And then last night, Frank and Sophie slept in the bed with me because they didn't want to be around the little kitten. Well, today was a little bit different. They were more curious about her. I guess they realized that she wasn't going anywhere and that we liked her because, you know, we were doing a lot of talking and petting and, you know, just trying to convince them that it was all right and she was just a little kitten. So today was better. They were more curious about her and got closer to her, and Frank came in the house and ate on his own even though he saw her. Sophie come by her in the living room cautiously, but she went by her and came outside. So we feel like they're starting to accept her. It's just going to take a little time, and we'll just have to work with them. And then we talked about Frank and Sophie have been due to go to the vet, so we're going to have to take them to the vet pretty soon. And we will be getting Twiggy fixed, so we'll be doing that. I think she has to be about 6 months. We're not sure about her age, but I believe she's about 4 months right now. So she's really not old enough yet. So we'll probably try to set up appointments for all 3 of them where we can take them the same day without having to make 3 separate trips. So that's kind of the story about the little kitten that was abandoned and that I brought home. And she's got a home here now, and we like her. And I believe Frank and Sophie are going to adjust to her eventually because it got better today. Now I'm going to pause this video and take my camera and see if I can get a picture individually or together of all 3 of them. So, all right here is Miss Sophie. Say hello to him, Sophie. Sophie. It's Sophia. She spotted Twiggy. That's what she was looking at. Okay. Twiggy, I mean, not Twiggy. Let me go find Twiggy and let you see her. All right, there's Twiggy. Come and say hi, Twiggy. Come and say hi. She's a talker. Yes, and she's a cutie. She's a real cutie. Okay, now I'll try to find Frank. Frank's in here in my bedroom. I have an ironing board with a blanket on it by the window, and he likes to lay there. So here's Frank. Frankie. Frank. Say hi. Tell everybody you're okay. And that you're starting to get used to Twiggy. Yes. So that's the update on the cats. And before I end this video, I just want to say that, as usual, be sure you go out and check your registration. And if you're not registered and you're old enough to vote, then go register and vote in this upcoming election. It's very important. So, everybody have a good afternoon, and I'll be talking to you tomorrow. Bye. Love, Grammy.